What's up, guys? It's Tim with the Gutter Growth Podcast. Today I have a special guest, Tim Sullivan. Tim's a small business coach that works with startup companies. How you doing today, Tim?
I'm doing good, Tim. How are you doing?
Good, man. I like your name.
Yeah, we're not going to forget it.
No, it's a great name. Good deal, man. So why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about your background and what you do?
So I've been in like the home service. I was a flooring small business owner till 2008. So about 16 years of doing that. And then in 2008, the housing market crashed and everything, my knees crashed, my back crashed and everything. So I decided to get into like the exterior cleaning. I went and worked for a friend for a few years in window cleaning. And 2017, I started my own window cleaning business. I built that up until about 2020 and actually merged it with another bigger company. And right now we're pushing north of 6 million. We're planning for this year. We have 5 different divisions. So we like doing some complicated stuff. We have a painting division, a janitorial division, an exterior cleaning division, a maid service division, and then a maintenance division. So we kind of do a little bit of everything. And what we've learned is you don't say no and you can stay busy.
What's the main one? Like what brings the most revenue, you think?
The most revenue right now, they're all relatively close. Janitorial is probably at 1.7. That's probably the biggest one. And then paint is at 1.5, 1.3 for the exterior cleaning. And then daytime or the Mary Maid service is about 700,000. And then we've got the maintenance one is kind of the smallest of them all. It's more of a supplement for all of the other divisions that we have.
Do you get into doing any gutter cleaning or anything like that?
We do gutter cleaning. Yep. We do gutter cleaning a little bit. We just started getting into gutter guards a little bit, but yeah.
Alurex is a good one, by the way. We're sponsored by them.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. But cool, man. So so you still have those companies going on, and then you dove a little bit into coaching?
Yeah. So I have a mentor who is my business coach, Josh Latimer, and he just always told me that I have a heart for helping people. And even when you're in business as a business owner, kind of one of the things that I think drives a really good business owners is they find something that they can help other people with. You know, like anybody doing gutter cleaning, gutter guards, anything like that, you're helping a homeowner. So I just started helping kind of for free a couple of smaller businesses and really like doing that. So now in my spare time, I actually help other small businesses. And I found the niche with startups because a lot of people have this really grand idea of starting their own business. And then when they do, they're like, uh-oh, now what do I do?
No doubt. So, what would you say? How do you help out the small businesses that are looking to just get into business and kind of don't know what to do?
So the biggest thing is that if you look at any Facebook or a lot of the questions of new business owners have is they go out and they learn how to do the trade and they're usually pretty good. But then what they do struggle with is how do you get the next customer? How do you price these jobs before you don't price yourself out of a job or you're pricing yourself into just slavery, basically? Yeah. So what I really like to do is I help people, the small business owners, build a plan, just a basic plan of how boots on the ground marketing, you either have time or you have money. And when you're first starting out, most people just have time. So how can we maximize that time to get the most clients we can to build your list up to, right now, like for us, we have a customer list of over 10,000 people. We can plug in at any given time, a different marketing tactic to our existing customers to get more work. Well, when you're first starting out, you have 2 customers. You're not going to keep reaching out to them. So you have to build it up. You have to start out and nobody knows you. So I help build a plan with that.
What's one of the first things that, most people should do when they're, maybe they're working, a gutter job and they want to get out on their own, or maybe it's cleaning in the cleaning space, but what's one of the first moves that they should make?
What if 3 days could unlock the growth your gutter business needs to dominate your market? Gutter Summit 2025 is not another conference. It's your shortcut to the exact strategies and tactics real contractors use to scale aggressively. Get inside the minds of industry titans, hands-on breakout sessions, and high-impact networking designed to fast-track your growth. Not only will you get an exclusive behind-the-scenes tour of Spectra and hands-on product training, VIP ticket holders gain access to private bourbon tastings, premium cigars, and next-level networking conversations that turn into six-figure deals. We're limiting this summit to just 260 hungry contractors. Once we're sold out, we'll unfortunately have to stop all sales and start a wait list for the following year, so time is of the essence. And the longer you wait, the more you'll pay. Ticket prices will rise each month leading up to the event. Gutter Summit, Atlanta, Georgia, at the beautiful Georgian Terrace Hotel. Practical tactics, proven growth, unparalleled value. Your next level breakthrough starts here. Reserve your spot.
I think the first move they should make is just getting in front of other people. I love door knocking, and I know it's not for everybody, and I think it's gotten a bad name with a lot of things going out there. But between door hangers and door knocking, you get to talk to people and you find out, even if they're rude to you, you find out what they need. And if you can find out what they need, you can change your script, you can move it around to something that actually fits you a little bit better and actually fits the customer, the area you're in, a little bit better. So you know what you're selling.
Okay. So in the beginning, one of the first things they should do is start getting out a lot of door hangers, maybe knocking on some doors, little sweat equity. Is there any tactics that you have to that, or?
So the biggest plan that I would say when I started my business in 2017 is my goal was to hand out 600 door hangers a week. And that I would door hanger. And then if anybody looked like they were home, I would knock the door when I was there. And then I'd try and talk to at least 50 people a week on that. And knowing full well that I'm going to get maybe a 1 to 2% response rate to that, you can build up. I would door hanger and door knock Monday, Tuesday, schedule the jobs Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'd give them estimates right on the spot so they know what the price is. I can get them on the books. Having a CRM, even a basic Google Doc and your Google Calendar, just to start out with, just plugging things in there and getting it down so that you can get your basically your week scheduled.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely. I like doing a CRM from the get-go. Which ones do you tend to like?
Well, I have used Customer Factor, Service Monster, Jobber, and now we're at House Call Pro.
Okay. How do you like the House Call Pro? Is that better than Jobber in your opinion, or
in my opinion, it's every CRM, the CRM war that you can have with people. They all have good things going for them. For us, the plug-in stuff of House Call Pro kind of fit for us with the different divisions that we have going on. It was kind of the easiest one to scale with what we have. If I was going to stay strictly exterior cleaning or one division, I probably like Jobber a little bit more.
So you think House Call Pro is good because you got more services that you're offering?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. When we were in Jobber, they didn't have we call them business units. So you didn't have the ability to map a business unit over to QuickBooks. So that was 3 years ago, I believe. House Call Pro had the option to map business units to QuickBooks. So our books would line up a whole heck of a lot better when we had House Call Pro linking to QuickBooks than Jobber to QuickBooks. We were having issues with that.
Is House Call Pro innovating like as much as Jobber? I know Jobber is constantly changing things, but I notice it because I use them.
They are. Obviously, they're going with the masses. I mean, they call what's called a pro vote. So anything that they're going to innovate to, it's going to be the big thing that somebody wants. And again, with most of these, like Jobber and, well, not Jobber as much. House Call Pro is more, they're going to innovate towards the smaller service base, the smaller tickets, not the bigger tickets, from what I noticed. You know, our paint department and janitorial struggle in House Call Pro because it's built for the small recurring jobs more so than it is for the bigger, 5 to 10 day jobs all the time, bigger construction jobs or anything like that.
So House Call Pro is good for like reoccurring revenue.
Yes. Yep. That's what I found.
Yeah. I haven't used it, so I was curious.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one if people are in a pinch and they just, they can't get into a CRM right now. I've been using drip jobs as well for my gutter company.
Yep.
I can get people like 60 days free on that if they wanted to jump in it.
Right.
But yeah, it's always one of my first moves. I don't like doing any estimates without a CRM in place.
I would, and with the coaching that I do with Josh Latimer, we have access to Go High Level.
Yep.
So Go High Level can be a good CRM. The only thing that Go High Level lacks is any type of scheduling. It's great for follow up with your customers. You can do a lot of different things with it, but it just doesn't have a scheduling aspect linked in.
What about estimates? Does it do estimates?
Estimates are okay. Again, another one of those things. It's just not quite, you can build it, but it's not scalable as far as I'm concerned. If you want somebody else doing a lot of the work, that's where the Jobbers and the House Call Pros and the other ones that are built for that are really able to shine.
I use Go High Level too. It's just, I don't do it for any estimates, but I'm not like an expert. I know that stuff gets really detailed. I got some VAs that are Go High Level experts, but we use it for a lot of automation and text messages, emails, that type of thing. It's a pretty good system.
Yes.
So back to the door knocking. What type of approach do you normally have when you knock on a door? Is it like, are you picking certain neighborhoods? Are you, skipping over certain houses? Are you just blanking it anywhere? Is there any rhyme or rhythm?
I have found that we can get better. The older the neighborhood, it kind of seems like the better results we get. Really? You go into a brand new neighborhood, they just built their house less than a year ago. They're probably cash strapped. There's not a lot of trees around it. And we're doing a lot of exterior cleaning. That's a good amount. And gutter cleaning and everything like that. You need mature stuff around it. You need a little bit older. Window cleaning can be something you can get in a little bit earlier. But back to the new houses, the new homeowners, they don't have a lot of disposable income. They probably have younger kids. And as you know, with younger kids comes a lot of money spent. They're probably doing the stuff themselves if they're going to do it at all. So the older neighborhoods I found to have the best luck. And I use a lot of Google Maps and looking around from that Google Earth. And then I pick a neighborhood and then we just start blanketing it. Do
you consider income level or house value?
Yep. We look at house value. We look at income value. We have it's not really a company. It's kind of another VA type service that actually does a lot of this psycho analogy of all the different areas. And you kind of go through and they tell us, okay, this is exactly your avatar that you're looking for. Hey, what's your Larry's name that you want to actually sell to? And I have a guy named Jim that I use all the time. He's our biggest fan. He pays us he pays us almost $5,000 a year to clean his house, wash his windows at different times a year. And he prepays us before January even starts. And he's like, kind of when I talk about, that's our perfect avatar of a customer. And he lives in exactly one of those older neighborhoods, owned his house for 35, 40 years. And that's where we find our best customers at.
Good deal. So are you hitting every house in those neighborhoods? Or are you looking for, So
we will hit every house. We will blanket everything because you never know. And I will tell this story about the best door hanger I ever, this wasn't even door knock. This is a door hanger I ever had. It was the city I had just moved because I moved to the city that I opened a business in. So I was crazy enough to do all of that, move your family to another city, start a business all at the same time. I don't advise that to anybody, but just went in, I started handing out door hangers, and I handed it on one. She called me and she's like, yeah, I just want my exterior windows. How much would it cost? I'm like, $199. Went there, washed her windows, and found out she was the city administrator of the city that I just moved to. And she's like, oh, we just built all these new buildings. We got 3 new buildings. You want to do a quote for washing windows there? I'm like, sure. And then they had an older village public works department that needed an exterior cleaning. I'm like, okay. Literally 2 weeks into having go in business, I had a $5,000 estimate out there for the city of the village that I live in and got it. Now we washed their windows twice a year for about $10,000, and we've done it since then. And it's like, so that one, what you think 20-cent door hanger just built into like a $75,000 and growing
every year.
Account every year.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Are you leaving the door hanger only if they don't answer the phone or answer the door? So you're knocking, and like that's the last resort. They don't answer, boom.
Yep. Leave the door hanger on there. And then we have door hangers that have we don't for paint. For the exterior cleaning, we have 3 services on there. We have roof cleaning, exterior cleaning, and window cleaning. And then we write prices on there. And I'll just write a price on there from what I can see in the front of it. There's a tiny little disclaimer on the bottom that if you have a wall of glass or 3-story drop off on the back, that this could change.
Yeah.
But it's real pricing that's written on there. Sometimes we pre-write them out for the neighborhoods. We know that, okay, most houses in every neighborhood are relatively the same. And this can be an introductory foot in the door price that even if it is a little cheaper, we have recurring services that keep up with it.
Do you find that putting that price on kind of helps the return rate on
100%? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's a phone call generator. I mean, it gives them something instead of just most door hangers they look at and they're like, oh, I don't even know what you do. Throw it in the garbage. Yeah. But when they see that price, they're like, huh,
you're talking right to them.
Is this a real price? I mean, when they call, like, what does this include? You know, because it just says window cleaning. Does this include in and out, or is this out only, or is this the screens? And it just gets them to call the phone number, and that's all. That's half the battle.
And what did you say? It was like a 2.5-3% response.
Yeah. Yes.
Pretty high, actually.
It's actually high for. I found putting the price on there, it almost doubled the response rate.
So you were probably like 1.5 initially.
Yes, and then it goes up to 2 to 3% coming back with the price on there.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
And handwritten price. We physically handwrite the price on there. We don't just have a stamp or something. So you can tell it's kind of can be messy. I mean, I had my 8-year-old daughter doing it one time and you could barely read it, but it was still, you could read it just enough. So you would fill out the door hangers.
Cool. And if they do answer, what's your approach?
The approach is just to be, I don't go through I have a script in mind of talking to a customer. I also know that if a customer is annoyed, I'm not going to be pushy. I do not want the first interaction that I have with somebody or my company has with somebody to be bulldozing somebody in trying to get them to sell. I know solar gets a really bad rap on that.
Yeah,
when they come in and they're just pushing. I just ask them, hey, these are the things we do. Are you interested in anything like this? And sometimes they'll just say, get out of my face. Don't even talk about it. But sometimes they'll be like, oh, painting? You guys do painting? Oh, I have a project back here. And then I just go into the whole estimate script of that for each service. But yeah, non-pushy, non-combative, and just know that, and I might be coming back there in a month because we try and hit monthly for at least 3 months in a neighborhood to make sure we're really touching base with them. So I might be reaching out to them again. And the next time I come, they're like, hey.
Oh, so you're going to hit that same neighborhood again.
Yep. We're going to try and do it monthly. And again, we get a little bit more relaxed the busier we get, because obviously we're not going to try and we get super busy too as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if we hit it 3 months in a row, again, the same response rate is going to be higher the second and the third month, because they're also going to see our trucks in there then. They're going to see our yard signs in there. They're going to know who we are, and they're going to all know, like, and trust us right from the start, because like, hey, you guys are everywhere.
You're working that neighborhood.
Yes. Yep.
So what if it's someone that's like unhappy that you're there? Are you going to knock on their door again? Is there anything that you write down to?
We have a list that we start that is like, okay. And we do pretty much honor the no soliciting signs. I'll still hang a door hanger on that sign. I will not knock the door if it says
that's a Post-it note.
Yep. So, and then we do keep track of it. With the multiple people we have doing it now, sometimes make the mistake of knocking somebody that was upset the last time. Yeah, we do.
Believe it or not, I had going back like 15, 16 years ago, I did it for like 2 years. I had a flyer distribution company.
Okay.
And I had like 7 guys. That's all they did was pass out door hangers and flyers and, for several businesses. It definitely works.
Yes.
How much time are you putting into getting 600 out?
So the average 60, you can do 60 to 80 door hangers an hour is roughly what I found. I personally, when I was all alone doing it, I bought electric scooters and I could double it. And I would go electric scooters. Now, I know there's some liability things with employees and stuff like that, having them go around with electric scooters without helmets on. We've had a few still use them to this day, but yeah, usually the 60 to 80 an hour. So you can plan on, most people aren't going to walk for 8 hours a day. I mean, it's not unexpected, but the 4 hours, if you can hit 3, that's why I'd say the 650, the 5 to 650, you spend 4 hours. Walking and knocking doors. And again, it could be 5 because you could, with the door knocking, you can have I've had some 15, 20-minute conversations with customers. You got to be able to spend the time to do that. But yeah, in 2 days, if you spend 8 hours over the course of 2 days, that's usually pretty good. I've gained weight since I stopped not being the one doing it as much.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of walking.
It is a lot of walking.
My guys did do 8 hours a day, but it took them, the first week I hired them, they were toast by the end of the week. And then they started liking it.
Yes.
But no doubt. So you, as far as like training, you're sending other guys out there to do it too. So, but I guess initially it'd be the owner wanting to do it, right?
Correct. The owner, so again, the new thing about a new business owner, most businesses started out like that, and you've got to get your face out there as a business owner, especially if you're a one-man show. You're going to be the guy they see when they come to do it. They're going to be the guy they call when they have a complaint. You've got to get known. You got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there. It's the same thing with Facebook. You've got to, and part of this plan that we build is getting your Facebook page optimized for it and putting posts on your board before and afters, always just keep putting it out there, putting it into groups just enough to not get banned from the neighborhood group, put it out there. Adding value to it is what you need to do. So yes, it starts out with the owner usually. And then even now though, we have our technicians, when they're done with the job, they do door hangers. They don't necessarily door knock, but they do the 10 rounds after every job. And if a customer's out there, we give them bonuses for upselling a job or getting all the contact information and sending it back to us.
Oh, good. How do you approach that?
For the owner, just, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. I'm washing windows over there. Or you hear the pressure washer running. This is what we're doing. Hey, do you want a quote? I noticed your house is dirty. Hey, I'm not trying to call you out on this, but I'm just saying we can take care of that. Hey, you can go to the beach this weekend. I know I can give a call back to my boss. He can probably get you on the schedule. I'm pretty sure we have an opening on Friday. Would you like to get it done?
And you get better response when you're already in the neighborhood and they see you in the neighborhood and then you're asking, you probably get better response that day.
100%, because then if you really dig deep into marketing, you're going to see that it takes 8 touches usually for somebody to buy something, especially when it comes from a service. It's not necessarily an impulse buy, even though it's a very fast buy. It's something that is slowly going into somebody's head. And when they see you, the more off they happen to see you. Got another story about a bigger construction job that I did.
Okay. Let's have it.
It was I had a really nice website. I had my truck vinyl lettered, not even wrapped, it was the only truck. I showed up, to do the estimate, and he goes, hey, I wanted to hire a company that wasn't just one guy in a truck, doing this job. He goes, so I saw your website and I saw your stuff and I've seen your trucks around, and I wanted to make sure, I picked somebody reputable. I just don't want somebody down the street. And I'm sitting there going, man, I just hired my first employee last week. I'm like, okay, yeah, we can do it. And we ended up coming. It was me there doing it with my employee. And he still thought, a year later, I actually talked to him. I said, when you hired me, I was that exact guy that you told me you didn't want. But he thought, it's the perception, the perception of having the yard signs out there, having your Facebook page up when they search for it. SEO is okay, but just having maybe a Google AdWord up there, just enough to get to be seen, but that's where you can grow to. You got to have your face out there.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of AdWords for sure. It's a good way to kick it off to where you're just up on top automatically. But
Yep.
it is expensive, and a lot of guys initially they can't afford it yet. Um, I heard that you said something about Facebook groups. So
Yep.
that's like another strategy that you have to where
Another strategy, you can go into Facebook, you can search for like us, Village of DeForest, a neighborhood page. And you can just find all these different neighborhood pages, all these subdivision pages, and you just ask to get in there. And the biggest thing is don't go in there just spamming your services right away. If you can build you can go in there and post like, hey, I do window clean or something like that, but don't make that be your only post. If you know of somebody that does, like, let's say flooring work or something, and somebody asks a question and says, hey, does anybody know a good flooring store? And you can say, hey, I use this flooring store. You add value in there. You're always in there. People are going to be like, hey, what do you do again? And then they're going to be more like to, when somebody else responds and says, hey, do you know a window cleaning company? They're going to say, like, hey, this guy has helped us out before. Even if we haven't washed their windows, they still know and like you. So picking out for that. You can use the Facebook pages. Also Nextdoor, that app is another place that you can actually do exact same strategy, but you got to give value in there before you just get stuff.
What's the Nextdoor app usually run people?
How much does it run?
Yeah.
I don't think it costs anything to be
you can do it for free, right? I know that you can run ads in there. So
you can run ads in there. We've never run ads in there.
Okay.
The bigger we've gotten, I've gone a little bit less on Nextdoor. Probably when we start hiring more social media marketing person, that's going to be probably one of our next hires. We're going to have them be more scouring those pages and being the person that adds the value to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have a lot of my VAs do that. I had a VA company and they do social media management, and it's one of the main things I like them doing is sharing to groups and kind of interacting. And but no, you hit the nail on the head. Like, you got to give value too. If you're just spamming it, you're going to get kicked out of some of those groups, or people just get tired of it.
Yep. Yeah. We also have a list, like, on everybody that actually answers the phone. It's a customer referral list. So these are all different businesses that we have people call us and ask us, hey, my furnace went out. Who should I call? And we can tell them because they trust us. So we have a list right here of somebody that we can trust. That's another thing, is you just become the best problem solver than anybody ever knows when you're starting a business, and you don't even have to do the work, and they're just going to remember you the next time. And if you can do the work, well, that's even better.
That referring people, that probably brings a lot of referrals back, right?
Correct. Yep. So we have what's called partnerships with some of these other, a plumbing company, a pest control company. Well, pest control is our best friend because we'll wash the windows and the pest guy comes through and sprays the windows 2 days later. And then we have to go back there and wash the windows again. But there's just all sorts of, especially, I don't even want to say the bigger, with the amount of services we have. That's why we keep adding different lines of service, is because we find a need and a value, and we can add more value to what we do. And they do all kind of coincide in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So the next one is a pest control. That might be, we keep talking pest control and landscaping are the two next verticals we're actually going to shoot for.
You get it sprayed and then come back clean.
Clean it. Yep. So.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Obviously, like, a lot of the times it's, these are little tactics, but I'm sure that dealing with startups, a lot of it's mindset, right? So
yes.
Do you have to deal with a lot of mindset stuff, and what advice do you have for guys to kind of get over that hump or that fear that they have of starting?
I think being positive, I have a positive personality naturally, and I can laugh at almost anything. I make a joke on a lot of different things just because it's so easy to be uptight. And when you're door knocking, especially, you're going to get told no 99% of the time. And you have to be able to laugh it off. You have to be able to. You have to be able to tell the funny story when you get home. You're like, man, you should have seen this guy. And it's just, the biggest thing is being positive. And one step, every time you get a no, you're one step closer to a yes. I've heard that I'm plagiarizing with somebody because I've heard that before, but it's true. It actually is so true out there that, if you just one more step, the Rocky, one more round, one more, that mindset is if you can't do that, you're going to really struggle owning a business. You have to just keep pushing forward, going through. You're going to have your bad days, but you can always just make sure, okay, the next day I'm showing up just the same. It's a new day.
Yeah. No, mindset's everything. If you have a bad attitude, it's just not going to sell anything.
Right. Well, yeah, and customers, it's amazing how they feed off of that. If you go up to the door and you're just like, hi, my name's Tim. I'm here to sell you gutter cleaning. If you go up there and you're like, just happy to see them with a smile on your face. I don't know how old you are, but do you remember Saturday Night Live? Stuart Smalley? Okay, I'm 52, but Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live, gosh darn it. Yeah. I'm good enough. People like me. If you actually go into every time you knock a door with that attitude, you're going to sell more than the next guy.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. People people don't want someone miserable. So you got to go up there happy and get them talking. Do you ever turn the situation around? Because a lot of times people, they might be annoyed. What's your strategy when they're annoyed with you when you're knocking on the door?
I usually try, and this may sound intrusive, but I look to see inside, if they allow it to see something on their house, there's something that I can really relate with them. For around us, I'm a big sports fan. So I'm a Brewers, Packer, Wisconsin Badger fan. If they have anything to do with any type of sports, it's really easy for me to relate to something like that, to squeeze in like, hey, Brewers are on a winning streak right now. Or did you watch the All-Star game? Or trying to push it to something like that. Or I have 3 girls. So if it's a female, I can kind of lean into that. It's finding a commonality with somebody that's annoyed and making it more personal, like we're friends.
And then maybe it goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't, but at least everything's happy, right?
Exactly. You kind of get that, I've heard this before from somebody else too. If you can get somebody to laugh, you're 75% more likely to close the sale. If you can get somebody to agree with you, you're even farther along. So if we can agree that we both like the Brewers, that's great. Now, if you're a Cubs fan, we both probably like baseball. So they may not be the same.
Up a little bit.
Yeah, you can switch it up a little bit, and you can actually still have commonality, even though you're not the same at everything.
Good deal. Yeah, man. So what advice do you have for these new guys? Is there something that really sticks out that
I think it's just don't give up, and think back to, I have a podcast as well that's called What Really Matters in Life and Business. And to me, it's like business is one thing, but also remember the important things in life. Your business is a vehicle to get your personal life to where you want to go. So there is some separation there, and there's a reason why you're doing it. Remember back to when you started and try and stick with that, even on your worst days where you think you're not going to make payroll, or your first guy just quit. Your first hire quit. Now you hired another guy and he didn't show up that first day. Just remember why you started it, and that it's worth it. It definitely is worth it.
Yeah. When I started, I didn't even have a truck. I just had a trailer, and I had to borrow a truck every Saturday. After 6 months to save up money for a truck. And then I had the trailer. I just didn't have a truck to pull it. So, but you just got to keep going, right?
Yep. Yeah, I did the crazy thing too. When I started mine, I got back into flooring for one big job. I knew a guy that was building a big property. He was still building a dance hall. And I decided that to fund my business to start with, I was going to, in order to buy my truck and buy the tools, just the bare minimum tools I did a $30,000 flooring job by myself. I literally unloaded everything. It took me a weekend just to unload all the material. And then I just started working, and I was working 7 days a week to fund my startup. So where there's a will, there's a way. Again, it was crazy, probably not too smart, and I really hurt my body doing it. But yeah, it was how I started my business.
Yeah. Like if you're starting, right, and you don't have any work, you have to be out there knocking on doors or doing something, making phone calls, putting signs out, something.
Yes.
You like street signs?
I do. Or street signs or yard signs?
Yard signs.
Yard signs, yes.
Yeah.
I've gotten into yard sign works with other companies. We laugh about it. He's actually a friend of mine now. But we used to, like, every street corner, if he put one up, I have one in the trunk of my car. I'd put one up on the other side of the street. And then, yeah, I was surprised the city didn't call. And
was it like a war?
It was like a war. It was like, who could get them? Then we would start. Then once we got to know each other, we got our cell phone and we would take pictures of putting them up next to each other and stuff like that. And yeah, we actually use him. We've done work for him. And that's another thing, I guess, the advice I would say is all the other business owners that are doing your same service aren't the enemy necessarily.
No.
Some of them are, I guess. Some of them are kind of not nice people, but most people get to know the other people in your industry. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I always made friends with as many as I could. I had a gutter company for 10 years, but you're not going to make friends with everybody. But if you have some good allies, you might run out of material or they might help you out.
Yep.
And I've had that numerous times. And there was this time where I bought a European box gutter. It's like a square gutter machine. And like no one had it down here. I was one of the first companies at the time, but now it's a pretty popular profile. But at first, like I was the only one that had it. And then like now probably 20, 30 companies have it.
Right.
You know, as they were starting to buy the machines, I was like, damn, you know, I'm not the only one anymore. But what actually happened was it made it more popular. And I started getting more calls for it and selling more jobs. And so it ended up being a good thing.
Yep.
You know, because before, like the market didn't know about it. It was a new profile, but like now homeowners actually know about it because so much of it's out there and they're seeing it. And so the competition actually helped me out in that aspect.
Right. Definitely.
Cool, man. So if someone wanted to work with you for coaching, if they're looking to start a business, how could they get a hold of you?
So Facebook right now is the easiest way to get a hold of me is just send me a message on Facebook and we can set up a time to book a call. That's the easiest. My schedule right now, this is our busiest time of year, but I will do lots of nights and weekends or later on in the afternoons are the easiest things for me to do to help people. Facebook is the easiest way to get a hold of me.
So what do you do? Is it mostly like one-on-one coaching or kind of what's your strategy? How do you work with your clients?
We start out with one-on-one, and then once you get to a certain point, then I build in either a biweekly, it depends on the person, a biweekly or a weekly accountability group with other business owners that are kind of the same size as you. That's what really helped me when I was growing my business at the start is having a group of people that, hey, you're all going through the same thing. It doesn't have to be just me coming up with all the answers. You guys are kind of coming up to the answers together. So it's more of the accountability group type coaching style. And I just am the facilitator of being basically the moderator of it to make sure that we're staying on track.
Cool, man. So you got some guys getting some good results and
yes, I do. I have one guy that is, it was probably about 2 months ago. He started his business and he's up to, I think it was about $9,000 this month and it's halfway through the month. So he's going to push 18. Now, again, results vary. He's a go-getter. I knew it from the start that he was ready to go. He just needed that tiny little guidance of like somebody to push him over the edge. He was doing a lot of things and some of it was learned by, not everybody learns by coaching. It kind of helps move it forward. He was going to learn no matter what. I just helped him speed up the process of getting him some knowledge of that. So yeah, he is my best result so far. I have a few others with varied, again, it's what you put into it. Any coaching program, I will actually say almost all coaching programs work if you put the effort into using it. And that's the problem that most people don't do.
Yeah, you got to show up to the meetings. You got to take action.
Yes.
I've had a couple guys that just like, they did every single thing I told them. And like, they really, one guy 4X'd his business in 1 year.
Right. Yeah.
I've never 4X'd one of my businesses. It's always been like 2X, but I couldn't believe it. He listened to everything.
Yeah, and that's where you have action takers. And there's some people out there that the only reason they need a coach is because they just don't know what to do. And they're good at doing the thing, like moving it forward. They're not going to create something and they don't have the time to all the information that I teach to is out there. You can go into YouTube. You can go into Facebook groups, and you can probably find most of it. I'm not going to teach you something that hasn't been taught before.
Yep.
What it is, just a structure. And like you said, somebody that takes that structure from point A, B, C, D all the way through they're going to win. So
one of the most successful guys I met, he personally spends $250,000 every year on coaching.
Yes.
Not one coaching program, but like coaches for like every little area of his life.
Yep.
You know?
Well, if you want to, what's the biggest thing? If you want to work out, the best way to do it is pay somebody to do it. You're more apt to pay attention. You're more apt to show up. If you know that you're giving somebody $200 a week to get you in shape, I don't care how rich you are. I mean, at least at this point, $200, I'm going to go show up. So when I tell somebody I'm going to do it, and that's the other thing with the accountability groups, as a business owner, it can be lonely. So
I wish I had stuff like this when I was starting business.
Yeah.
You know, this wasn't really out there that much.
Nope.
Or if it was, you didn't know about it.
You didn't know about it. You didn't have the avenues, back in the early, even 2000, I mean, the 2000s, 2010, there wasn't much out there for social media there was forums and stuff like that, but it was hard to actually get to them. You had to go home and dial up on the computer and things like that.
Yeah, there's really no excuses nowadays. Like it's just, there's so much information out there. You could get a coach or you could do a lot of studying, but it's like, you got to take action. Just take action.
Yep.
It's the Twin Thieves. I think it's, I don't know if you read that book, but people have like two fears, either the fear of failure or the fear of judgment.
Yep.
And that's like the two biggest fears that hold people back.
Right.
Like what if this doesn't work? Or are people going to judge me? Or what if I fail? Are people going to judge me? Or are you going to judge yourself? But, the thing is just got to get over the fear.
Yes.
Yeah. So cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and talking to me today. I think everyone's going to get a lot out of this. So best way to reach you is just look up Tim Sullivan and
Tim Sullivan on Facebook. Yep.
Okay. Do you have any groups? Do you have a Facebook group or anything like that?
I do. I have a Lead with Positivity and Profits is what it's called.
Okay. So you can just kind of search that.
They can search through that and they should be able to find all of that. Tim Sullivan, I guess there's a few Tim Sullivans out there, but you would be able to find me in a lot of the pressure washing groups and exterior cleaning groups.
And when I post this, I'll have a link in there so people could follow you on there and
perfect.
Get in touch with you. But coaching works. So
yes, 100%.
Good deal. So if you guys aren't following the Gutter Growth Podcast, give us a like and follow. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We also play these on Facebook Lives and Instagram. Give us a follow. And Tim, I appreciate you coming on here today. And you have a good day.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim.
See you, man.